I used to work night security at an abandoned mall. The whole place had been shut down for years except for a couple storage tenants, and the company hired me to monitor trespassers, even though nobody in their right mind would break into a collapsing mall at 2 a.m. Or so I thought. My shift was always dead quiet. No incidents, no alarms, just the echo of my boots on cracked tile floors and the hum of old fluorescent lights trying to stay alive. But the mall had one part that always made me uneasy. The old movie theater. It was sealed shut with barricades, plywood, and metal bars. Management said it had structural issues. They told me never to go near it. They said homeless people used to hide in there before it was sealed. But every single night, I heard noises from behind those barricades. Breathing, shuffling, slow footsteps pacing inside a place no one had access to. I told myself it was probably the building settling. Until the night I realized it wasn't the building. It was someone living in there. It started with small things. A chair moved in the food court when I walked by. A security camera that showed static only on the wing near the theater. My patrol tablet showing motion detections every night at 3:17 a.m. Always 3:17, always the same wing. Then came the worst night, the night that made me quit. I was checking the upper level when I heard something fall on the floor behind me. Not a small sound, heavy, like a whole toolbox dumped from the second floor. I spun around, flashlight ready. No one, but on the floor was a metal pipe. Too clean, too new, like it had just been dropped there. I checked the camera feed. The camera aimed at that walkway had gone dead 5 minutes earlier. Then I heard it, a slow, deep knock, coming from inside the sealed movie theater doors. Knock, knock, knock. Deliberate, purposeful. I yelled, "Security, step back from the door." The knocking stopped. I waited, and then, something slid across the floor from underneath the barricaded door. A piece of paper, folded neatly, like a note passed in class. I stared at it for a long time before I crouched down and picked it up. There was only one sentence written inside. "I know you stay still when you're scared." My stomach dropped. Someone had been watching me. Someone who knew my habits. I backed away slowly, radio shaking in my hand. That's when the motion alert pinged again on my tablet. Wing C Theater Hallway, 3:17 a.m. The feed glitched and then froze. In the final frame, I saw a tall silhouette standing directly in front of the theater doors. Not facing the camera, facing me. It didn't move, just stood there, waiting. I called my supervisor, Dale, and told him I was done. I left my badge, keys, and tablet on the desk and walked out of that mall without looking back. But the story didn't end when I quit. It didn't even slow down. It got worse. The first message came the next night. From an unknown number. A photo, taken from a mall security camera. The man in the theater wing, standing inches from the security office door I'd been inside the night I quit. The caption said, "You were the only one who listened." I tried to tell myself it was a prank. Maybe another guard. Maybe Dale messing around. But then I got the second photo. Not from the mall. This one was from a city street camera. It showed my block, my street, the same tall figure, barely visible under a streetlight. The next morning, another text arrived. A picture inside my apartment building's hallway. He was closer now. Too close. I called the police. They brushed it off as some kind of spoofed location scam. Then I got a phone call from Dale. He sounded terrified. He left the theater, he said. What do you mean, left? He doesn't do that, ever. He stays inside. Always. Why now? Silence. Because he thinks you saw too much. My mouth went dry. Why would he care about me? Another pause. Because when he came to your office door, you didn't run. You froze. And he noticed. I hung up. I didn't want to hear more. At 2:11 a.m., the power in my building flickered. Then everything went black. Only my building. I checked the window. The rest of the city block was lit normally. My phone buzzed. A new text. A photo from the basement hallway of my building. Pipes, concrete, shadows, and in the middle of the hallway, the man. Staring up the stairs that led to my apartment. I grabbed a flashlight and a kitchen knife and pressed my ear to my apartment door. At first, nothing. Then I heard footsteps on the stairwell. Slow, heavy, deliberate. He paused on every step, like he knew exactly which floor I lived on. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it would shake the door. Then my phone buzzed again. A message. Don't hide. He knew exactly where I was. Suddenly, the building fire alarm blared. Red strobes lit the hallway. Doors opened. Tenants scrambled outside. Then I heard a sound that didn't belong in human lungs, a low growl of frustration. Heavy footsteps sprinted past my door. He was following the crowd. Not because he wanted them, but because he wanted to blend in, to move through the building unnoticed, to get closer to me. I waited until the hallway was empty, then bolted for the emergency stairs, in the opposite direction he had gone. Down the stairs, toward the basement exit door. That door always had a brick in it to keep it open. Tonight, the brick was gone. The door was padlocked shut. From the outside, he had planned this. I heard footsteps behind me. Soft, bare, dragging slightly. I didn't look back. I threw myself into a maintenance room and locked the door. It was pitch black except for my flashlight beam shaking violently. I pressed my ear to the door. Breathing, deep, slow, right outside. I dialed Dale. He's here, I whispered. Dale didn't sound surprised. He doesn't kill quickly, Dale said quietly. When the mall forced him out years ago, something broke in him. He didn't want to be outside. He wanted the place dark, quiet, empty. He lived there for years, and he thinks you understand him now. Why me? Because you didn't run. To him, that means you respect his space. I was shaking uncontrollably. What do I do? You don't run, Dale said. Help is coming. A minute later, I heard radios crackling, officers shouting, police, basement level, clear this area. Footsteps approached the maintenance room. The breathing outside the door stopped instantly. Then I heard hurried footsteps sprinting away. The police dragged me out of the room. They searched the basement for 20 minutes. He vanished, but when they watched the security footage of the stairwell, their expressions changed from annoyed to horrified. They called in backup. One of the officers whispered, "How did he get behind the camera without being seen?" Another said, "He wasn't chasing him, he was guiding him." Then the phrase that froze my blood. Multiple sightings. Not just him. Multiple, not just him. A detective pulled me aside and said, "Don't go back into your building. Ever." I asked if they caught him. She shook her head. He slipped into a duct system and disappeared. We don't know where it leads, or how long he's been living in various buildings. Various, she nodded. These men don't stay in one place forever. They migrate. Dark, abandoned, quiet structures. Old malls, vacant apartments, basements, tunnels. She paused, and sometimes, they follow patterns. What patterns? Light, sound, people who go still when they're afraid. I didn't know what to say. She put a hand on my shoulder. You're not the only one he's followed home. But you might be the only one who noticed. I was relocated to a new apartment that night. Far away, bright building, lots of tenants, security cameras everywhere. I thought I was safe. Until 3:14 a.m. my phone buzzed. One final message from the unknown number. No photo this time. Just text. Your new place is too bright. I like the dark ones better. That was 3 hours ago. I haven't slept. And somewhere outside, someone else's lights just went out.